Welcome to the fourth in the Inspiration series of videos, where we look at how TNT Planning is helping people with a wide range of financial challenges to better understand their money and their financial future. So let's have a look at Richard, who is single and 37. He owns a small, successful business that he started 5 years ago. Richard's financial challenge is very simple. He wants to build the value of his company so that he can sell it and still have enough active years to fully enjoy the proceeds. So let's have a look and see where he's starting from. He's 36 years old. Like many company directors, receives a small salary and his other remuneration in dividends, and has a mixture of cash and assets totaling just over £70,000. He now needs to update the assumptions to personalise his plan, including the sale of the business, and he looks first at his plan structure. He's not optimistic about his longevity and wants to plan for just 50 years. He doesn't want a phase B, and he wants to plan in phase A for 14 years to take him through to a business sale at age 50. He now needs to enter the proceeds for his business sale. So for that, he goes to other income. After speaking to his accountant, Richard believes that a realistic target for his post-tax sale value is about £1 million. So if he puts that into here in plan year 14, next he reviews his planned earnings. He leaves his salary here to increase just in real terms at 1% per year. His dividend income can vary significantly from one year to another, but he calculates that, ignoring inflation and working with today's money, he should be targeting an average annual amount of £50,000 through phase A until the intended sale. So he changes the dividends here to option 2, which means he's working with a stable amount, which is an average of 50,000 just here. He now goes to his basics because he wants to look at the employer contributions. So these are the contributions the company is making towards his pension. So he wants to work in pounds. So the first thing he does is take away the percentages. He doesn't have a phase B, and he, again, looking at his business plan, he thinks that his business will be able to afford £5,000 in A1, 7,500 in A2, and 10,000 in A3. The next item to be reviewed is Richard's lifestyle spending. Because he feels he's currently just sketching some possible scenarios, he elects to work with a summary option 1 and set therefore a single average annual amount for each life phase. He's determined to enjoy his later years after working hard to build the business, so he plans for a lifestyle spend of 60,000 in phase C. And while he's working, he doesn't get a lot of time to spend, so he sets a budget of 35,000 in his other phase A. He now goes to look at graph 4. See how he's doing with his plan. And he sees it's running negative because of this long later life period, running down to about minus 255. He's aware that his plan has a large inflow of £1 million in the early years, and so it's likely to be sensitive to the assumptions he makes about investment returns, particularly in phase C. So to test this theory, he goes to his investments, and just adds another percentage return in phase C. Returns to his graphs. He's surprised to see that just that small change has been enough to make his plan positive. He also sees in graph 3 how TNT has gradually moved his money from these regular investment accounts into the tax-protected ISA accounts at the same time as it's been running down to provide the income that he needs during phase C. He's curious to see the detail of how his plan is managing this, and he therefore goes into results and looks at his tracker tool. Here he can see the detail of every movement in his plan year by year. He recognizes the numbers that are driving his 4 graphs set out in the structure of total income, spending on today, saving for tomorrow, and tax. He looks at the balances of his investments and loans shown here at the beginning and the end of each year. He can already see in year 1 his plan moving some of his regular investments into a tax-protected ISA account. He's particularly interested in year 14 being the year of his business sale, and he could just go straight there by inputting a number here, but he decides just to scroll through and see how his investments are changing year by year, all the way through to year 14, where he sees an amount being transferred into his general investment account as well as into his ISA investment account here. Having created the framework of his plan and satisfied his curiosity as to how it works, Richard can now play with his plan and use it to create different scenarios where his business might be worth more or less, or he might stop earlier or later. For example, he thinks about working for another 3 years. So he goes to his structure, adds another 3 years. He prudently assumes that the business sale will have the same value, but now in year 17. Goes to his other income and updates to 17. He can now increase his lifestyle spending, working that bit longer, and take that in phase C to 65,000. Just to get an idea of the reward for that extra 3 years. He goes to his graphs and checks that his plan is viable with his sale proceeds there in graphs 1 and graph 2, and indeed his graph 4 is positive as well. He can then reverse the question and ask, if I want to spend 100,000 in phase C and sell in year 17, how much does the business have to be worth? So now, going back to his plan lifestyle, he can change that spending to a very comfortable £100,000 per year. And now if he goes to his income and sets that to say 1.8 million, then he can check on his graphs and again see that that is a viable option. So Richard is still a long way from the intended sale date, so much will change in that time. But for the moment, he has a plan he can play with to create a variety of scenarios and some motivational targets. Working with his accountant, he now has a bridge between his business plan and his personal plan, so any change in one can then be reflected in the other. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it's been useful and has inspired you to think about your financial challenges and to create your very own TNT plan.